Good morning, Enid. It is Thursday, November 12th. Thank you for joining us. It's kind of a typical November, 41 cool degrees outside. And this is the first time of the year that I've mentioned this, Sarah, that it is a wind chill of 35 degrees. So if you're planning your Thursday, keep that in mind, a wind chill of 35. I'm Steve Kime. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Sara DelAngel.
Sarah, welcome back. You've been kind of yo-yoing back and forth here on the show. We've missed you.
I've missed the show too. I'm really glad to be here this morning.
You've been traveling. The one time you went to Canada, and then you came back, and then you went somewhere else.
Yes, I did. It was work related, but it's still nice to be back.
Okay, well, we're glad that you're back. So I'm really excited about the show because it's our, I know it's a day late, but it's our Veterans Day We Remember show. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, It's really nice. I know many of us took the time to honor our veterans yesterday, and we wanted to do the same with this show this morning. So thank you for joining us. It's time to rise and shine, Enid.
Thank you, AJ. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Enid on this Thursday, November 12th. As Sarah said, we certainly hope that you had a good Veterans Day, and we appreciate all the service of our veterans and also those that are active duty. Thank you for your service and really your sacrifice, and also all the families that are involved. And we're excited about our interview segment today because we get to honor a World War II veteran. So that'll be fun. Well, again, it's holding steady, 41 degrees, wind chill at 35. And let's see, you know, we've been showing our first freeze map that we have here in Oklahoma. And typically around the 1st of November is when we have our first freeze. And so here we are on the 12th, and we're getting closer and closer. I don't know if it's tomorrow morning that we may be having our first freeze. I'm not sure. But as you can tell, typically it's 1st of November, and we're 12 days in. So the freeze was fine with me, is staying away.
Oh, so, definitely. I'm glad it's a little late.
You're from California. You like a high of 72 and a low of 70?
Yes,
is that,
I do, actually. That would be perfect. That would be my summer and winter.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the forecast, because I know we've got a lot of football this weekend and just a lot going on in Enid.
Yes, and like you said, you mentioned the wind chill, and with that, the temperatures are going to be staying a little bit lower. As you can see, it's going to be 67, our highest this weekend. So it'll be sunny, but kind of chill.
And see, that's weather for me to hang Christmas lights. See, it takes me about a month to do my Christmas lights.
About a month? Wow.
Yeah. They don't call me the Clark Griswold Jr. for nothing. Did you ever see the movie Christmas Vacation?
No, actually, I haven't.
Well, okay. Well, if you've seen the movie Christmas Vacation, the guy's house was just completely covered with lights. Now, my house is not that bad, but I do like lights.
Okay, good.
My wife, she decorates inside, and I do the outside.
We usually just put up a tree.
Wow, that's real go-get-'em kind of deal. Golly. 7:34, thanks for joining us. We'll quit talking about Christmas. We haven't reached Thanksgiving yet. 41 degrees. And to find out what happened in the world overnight, and mainly in Oklahoma, let's go with the Oklahoma Minute and Derrick Silas.
Good morning, Enid. The Oklahoma Council for Social Studies named Chris Jeffries Middle School Teacher of the Year. Dr. Dwight Reynolds of the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center led a study on the new Medtronic mini pacemaker, which does not require surgery to implant and has had great results. Saturday, November the 14th, OU plays Baylor University at 7 p.m. in Waco, Texas. It will air on ABC. OSU plays Iowa State in Iowa at 2:30 p.m. and it will air on ESPN. The Oklahoma City Thunder played the Wizards Tuesday. The score was Oklahoma City 125, Wizards 101. Tomorrow, November the 13th, the Oklahoma City Thunder will play the 76ers at 7 p.m. in Oklahoma City. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve and Sara.
And I'm going to that ball game. My wife and I are going to the Friday night Thunder game.
Oh, awesome.
When they played the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll see you there at Chesapeake Arena.
Well, the Thunder games are always a lot of fun. I was tempted to go to last week when they were playing Toronto, just because I just came from Canada, so I feel like I'm a fan. But I didn't get to make it, so.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. That's Friday night. The Sixers come to town. Well, speaking of coming to town for next week, Monday, we have the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission meeting that will be broadcast live on Channel 12 and also 112, and we'll live stream it so you can watch the MAPC meeting. I believe it gets underway at 6 o'clock, and that'll be Monday. And you can go to enidtv.org. If you don't have Sunlink cable, you can go to the website there and watch the MAPC meeting 6 o'clock on next Monday. And then on Tuesday, we
have another important meeting on Tuesday, yes. That would be our commissioners meeting. That would be Tuesday, November 17th, and as you can see, it's scheduled to start at 5 p.m. I believe you can also live stream this, correct? So it's a perfect way to stay informed with what's going on with the city.
And that's all part of the Enid Television Network, is to be able to, no matter where you're at in the world, if you go to enidtv.org on your phone or on a computer, you can watch what is going on in Enid. And I remember one of the city commissioners was absent from a commission meeting, but he was in Mexico, and he was watching the commission meeting on, I guess it was on his phone, but he was able to watch the meeting from Mexico since he was out of pocket. And that's technology, impressive. And so we're live streaming the show today where people can watch us on their phone. So it's pretty impressive. We were talking a little bit about Thanksgiving. We're 2 weeks from today?
Yes,
is that
2
right?
weeks.
Oh, mercy. And it was just July 4th the other day.
It was, yeah.
So anyway, what are your Thanksgiving plans?
Well, we're having family over from California, so it'll be the first year where we'll be hosting Thanksgiving at our house. I'm a little nervous about cooking the turkey, but I think it'll be all right.
One of these days, you might want to ask me to do my turkey gobble imitation. I have according to my daughter.
You don't want to give us a little piece of it right now?
No, not on live TV, but I might, I don't know. It all depends on which personality comes out to do that. But my daughter and grandson really think I have a great turkey impression.
Okay,
so
we'll have to hear
I
it.
might do a gobble thing for you. So, and maybe not, you know. It's 7:38. Good morning, Enid, on this Thursday, November 12th. I appreciate you being with us today. And again, our wind chill was 35 degrees just moments ago. Winds out of the northwest, around 11 miles per hour. And I'd like to remind you, before we talk about what's going on with the bow tie guy, I'd like to remind everybody, speaking of Thanksgiving and dinner, Operation Home Cooking. Thank you, Penn. Penn's put that graphic up for us this morning. If you want to have 2 airmen to come to your Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day on Thursday in a couple weeks, call the Public Affairs Office at 213-7478, and they will assign you 2 airmen from Vance Air Force Base to come to your house at whatever time you have Thanksgiving dinner. The plan, according to Master Sergeant Peter Speen, they want to get all the airmen out of the dorms and get them in homes for Thanksgiving, just for, the lunch, the dinner. And they just wanted to get the airmen connected to a family so they don't have to be in the dorm by themselves for Thanksgiving. So if you saw that number on the screen, and we'll share it again throughout the program. There it is, 213-7478. Call Vance and say, we've got room at the table for 2 more, and they'll line people up to do that.
That's awesome.
So what's next, Sarah?
Well, next is Derrick with What's Going On.
Did you notice his bow tie?
Good morning, Enid.
Yes. Can't
The first event we have that's going on this weekend is Enid PBR Challenge, and it will be at the Enid Event Center Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. 50% of the proceeds will go to the Enid AM and Noon MBUCs, whose mission is to provide mobility and independence to people with disabilities. Then we have the Holiday Cookbook Marketplace from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., and it will be hosted at the First Presbyterian Church on West Main. The cookbook sale, 10% of the proceeds will go to Hearts for Care, and that's Saturday, November 14th. Then we have the Women's Self-Defense Seminar, which will be on 1322 South Van Buren, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., focusing on recognizing potential threats, risk reduction, and hand-to-hand women's self-defense. And as always, you can always go to visitenid.org to see other events that will be going on. And that's what's going on.
Very good. Self-defense. Very good. 7:41, good morning, Enid. Real quick, before we get to our interview segment, I think we have some high school playoffs. I'm not sure if Penn has some of our teams for us. Yes, he always delivers, doesn't he? Chisholm at Oklahoma Christian, you can see who's going to be home and away. But the regular season is over with, that completed. Enid, congratulations to the Plainsmen. They had a tremendous game last Friday. They were down, Sara, 35-14. They come back to win 49-42 to close out their season with a big win. But you saw on the screen there, these are all playoff games, and so it's cool weather. It's time to grab your coat and your hot chocolate and go support your high school team. So, well, enough of that. It's time for our interview segment. Jomara's with us this morning, and she is going to kind of set the stage for our World War II veteran that we want to honor this morning.
Good morning, Enid. Enid resident and World War II veteran George Bellman is our guest this morning on Good Morning Enid show. Mr. Bellman discusses with Steve what he was doing when the Japanese bombarded Pearl Harbor on December 7 of 1941 and how that event prompted him to join the Marine Corps. Mr. Bellman also discusses briefly the political career of his older brother, former Oklahoma Governor Henry Belmont. Let's tune in as 91-year-old George Bellman tells his story to Steve Kime.
How we got connected, I'd like to remind our audience, is that you're at First Baptist Church in Enid, and you're getting ready to go to Washington, D.C. on that honor flight. And so that's how George and I got introduced. But one thing that I shared with him, I said, you know, George, back in the 70s, I used to haul hay at your brother's farm. It was the governor's farm that I would haul hay on. So that's how we got introduced several months ago, and I appreciate George being with us today as we remember our veterans. George, right off the bat, why did you enlist? This is in, 1941 or so. Why did you enlist?
As you mentioned, Steve, I graduated from high school in 41. And I enrolled at Oklahoma A&M, as it was in those days, as a freshman. And it was during this year, on a Sunday morning, there was two other boys and I were sitting in the Aggie drugstore on the campus at A&M, right directly diagonally across the street from the college fire station. Anyway, they had a little radio up on the shelf on the wall. And while we were sitting there drinking a Coke, it came on the radio that they had bombed Pearl Harbor. And we looked at each other, and none of us had ever heard of Pearl Harbor. We didn't know what was going on. And I think it was probably a couple of hours later before we actually realized the significance of what was going on. But there was an awful lot, it took over the air, as you know, and there was an awful lot went on, and many of us in my age group, we realized that our lifestyle was going to be changing pretty quick. But anyway, that's how it started with me. I was young and physical, as most of us my age were, and I felt very strongly that I needed to go, and most of us did, and nearly everybody was eager to serve. And it took quite a while for them to get the draft organized.
Right.
I don't remember the length of time, but anyway, I had an older brother, Henry, who had just graduated from A&M, and by having a degree, he was able to enlist in the Marine Corps and enter their officers' training back at Quantico, Virginia, which he did. He was there for 12 weeks, and then he was transferred back into California. And as he came back through Oklahoma, he stopped at home for a day or two. And when I seen him in that uniform, then that did me in.
That sealed the deal, huh?
But I was confronted with a situation. My father was in his late 60s in those years, and he needed help there at home.
Sure.
And by rights, I probably should have stayed, but I couldn't handle it. And the draft wasn't organized, but in order for me to enlist, I had to be released by our local draft board. And they released me, and then I went and I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served during the war.
And your story is very familiar and similar to many other, families in this country back in 1941 and 42 that they had this decision: do I stay home and keep the family together and help our parents on the farm? Do I work, or do I go serve my country? And so you were faced with that decision, and so many other individuals. And I know my dad, he joined the Navy in 42, but he was also on the farm, and they had a lot of cows to milk and firewood to chop and stuff like that. But he was torn with, well, do I stay and help my parents, or do I go with my brothers and join the service? So there was a lot of different challenges and decisions to be made at that time. You're a part, as they phrase it, the greatest generation. You've heard that term. I think a news person, Tom Brokaw, I think, had mentioned the World War II generation. They call it the greatest generation. When you hear that term, George, what does that mean to you?
Well, I've thought about it some, and as time goes on, the more it has more meaning to me all the time. But when we think about it, probably our birth date had a whole lot to do with that. Steve, do you understand?
Right.
We came along at a time that was unique. I started to school at the age of 6 in 1930, and that was the very beginning of the Depression. We didn't realize, we thought everything was normal as young boys, and we didn't suffer. We had plenty to eat, but there weren't any luxuries, I'll tell you that. There wasn't any luxuries. We wore a lot of hand-me-downs, and we seemed like the clothing in those days weren't like they are today. We couldn't dress for the weather, and when I really think about it, maybe we were the greatest generation.
I think.
And I say that without being critical.
Well, sure.
Of any.
Listen, you're one of the most humble guys I know, so I know.
I admire so much the generations since. I admire the young people, and I particularly think about the ones that have served in the military. They have had a terrible disadvantage to me.
Yeah.
They've had to serve, and they have been subjected to, all the unusual devices, explosions and all, and we had advantages in World War II, which I'll talk about a little later.
You said the other day that we could talk about some of the islands that you had served on. What are some islands that come to mind? Because I know you were in the Pacific, so.
Well, I first went to, we left San Diego and went directly to Guadalcanal, where we trained for several months. And Then, during this time we were there, the 6th Marine Division was formed, and I had been a member of the 29th Regiment, the tank company, but we became a part of the 6th Marine Division. And I think it was March the 1st, 1945, we left Guadalcanal and went directly to Okinawa. And we made the landing there on April 1st, 1945. And the operation itself lasted 83 days. The island was declared secure on June the 23rd. And from there, we had a rest camp on Guam, and we went to Guam and spent less than a week, and we got orders to go aboard ship. And the ship was late, but we finally got on the ship and we went to Japan. And this was, they dropped that first bomb, and we were on the water, I think, when they dropped the second one. Wow. And we made the initial landing there, and we went in combat loaded because we couldn't trust them in those days.
Sure, sure.
As we pulled into Tokyo Bay, we could see some white flags along the shoreline, but yet and all, we couldn't right. trust them. But we were there in Japan for, I think, 3 weeks only, and we done a lot of disarming there, and we left and went back to Guam, spent just a very few weeks, and got orders then to go aboard ship, and we went to Tsingtao, China, where we disarmed a lot of the people. The Reds, you might remember, were taken over along about that time, and it was confusing. Everything was confused, and that after having served in overseas as I did, and having gone through the Okinawan campaign, my yearn for adventure has been completely satisfied. I have no desire for adventure.
You said something to me the other day, George. You said it's important that we remember. Why did you keep saying that statement to me over and over, that we need to remember?
Well, we do need to remember. I don't think we forget, but I sometimes wonder if we remember the way we should. We need to remember, first, I think, of all the lives that were...
A lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
A lot of sacrifice.
And we need to consider the families of these people, the wives and parents and friends, and we need to remember them.
And I appreciate you saying that, George, because the intent of our show today is, sure, to highlight a couple stories of George Bellman, but our purpose for our show today is to remember all those men and women that have served, that have given their lives the ultimate sacrifice. And the little thing that we can do is put a little program together to say that we remember. And so I appreciate you sharing that.
What a great interview. Thank you to Mr. George Bellman for taking time to share his story with us. And also, if you want to watch the full interview, you can watch it at 8 o'clock after the Good Morning Enid show. Thanks again to our veterans and all the active men and women that serve in the military services. Now let's watch a department head video. This morning we have Utilities Manager Scott Morris.
Hello, my name is Scott Morris, and I serve as the Utility Services Manager. The function of Utility Services is to produce and maintain billing records for over 20,000 accounts and assist citizens with service or billing issues. Utilizing the latest technology, our meters are equipped with radios that transmit usage data for accurate billing cycles, which are billed monthly. If I can be assistance to you, please contact me at the number provided on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ, and thank you, Scott Morris. It's 7:54. Good morning, Enid, on this Thursday, November 12th. Old and steady, 41 degrees. Wind chill, a California wind chill. Sara, 35 degrees. We got to find out what's What's going on in the news? Real quick, here's the bow tie guy.
The Oklahoma City Council for Social Studies named Chris Jeffries Middle School Teacher of the Year, and Dr. Dwight Reynolds of the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center did a study with the new Medtronic mini pacemaker, which does not require surgery to implant and has great results. Saturday, OU will play Baylor University, OSU will play Iowa State, and tomorrow, Oklahoma City Thunder will play the 76ers. Well, what's going on? Enid PBR Challenge goes on Friday at 7:30 and Saturday at 7:30. Holiday Cookbook Marketplace will be at First Presbyterian from 2 to 7 p.m. Saturday also. And the Women's Self-Defense Seminar will be from 10 to 12 Saturday, focusing on hands-to-hand women's self-defense. And that's what's going on. Back to you, Steve and Sarah.
Okay, Sarah, we have a new Adopt the Pet promo, and we're going to show that to you right now.
I work out at Animal Control. I am the new volunteer and adoption coordinator out here. We had several adoptions today, which is great, but we definitely need to keep up the effort. We are located at 1200 South 10th here in Enid, Oklahoma, and our phone number is 580-249-4910.
Good morning, Enid. It's 7:56. The quickest 30 minutes of the morning, right, Sarah? It goes so quick. Good news, our little white puppy dog, part Labrador, I forgot the dog's name, was adopted. That is so great. So thanks for helping us out. Shayna's with us this morning. See if we can take a look at who we have today. We got Jomara here. She is not for adoption, okay? But Shayna has brought, who's our friend?
Yes, she's brought Charlie. He is a
Charlie.
2-year male. He's a pit bull mix, and he is very docile and lovable and would make a great family dog. So he would definitely make a great family dog, and he's in need of a home. He's available for adoption today for only $120. So if you're interested.
And we really appreciate people, there's the number again, 249-4910. And what a very docile, as you said, puppy dog. We appreciate it, the families that are adopting these animals. Thank you so much for doing so. You can see that he's adult-proof because Jomara is getting along really well and Shayna real well. What a cute little dog. 249-4910. Hope you enjoyed that new pet promo that we have for us, that Shayna did for us and Dang Tape produced it for us. Okay, he's eating something. You got a healthy appetite. Well, Sarah, our 30 minutes is up. So it's time for you to say, what, goodbye, farewell, or something?
It's time for me to say I was really glad that you guys can all join us this morning, and I hope that you guys can join us next Thursday for another 30 minutes.
Right. And if, again, adopt the pet at 249-4910. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, Enid. Make it a great Thursday.